India in some way has significantly benefited as US-China competition has worsened, because it has deepened the convergence of interests between US and India. And we're seeing the fruits of that over the last few years. That is not to say that there is nothing organic about the India-US relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, the normalization began in late 1990s after the nuclear
It's a
test,
long
and then
haul, yeah.
yeah. So there is an deep organic element to this, but also the fact that uh, the nature of US-China competition and the geopolitics around that has facilitated and enabled a much more faster sort of convergence. So I think we have Xi Jinping to thank for that, for what he did in Ladakh in 2020. But whether this competition between the US and China needs to break out into hostility, and does that benefit us? I don't think so. If it breaks out into conflict, it actually is damaging for us. If it breaks out into zero-sum hostility over issues like Taiwan, it's disadvantageous for us. Just like we saw over the last year, once the war in Ukraine broke out, it became a matter of great diplomatic effort from India's point of view to convince the Americans that, hey, look, we are going to sit on our seat. We don't necessarily endorse this. This is, do we want to be in that position when it comes to Taiwan? We don't. We don't want to be in a position where we want to choose. We want to have most options available to us. And therefore, to do that, it's important that conflict doesn't take place. So this dialogue between the US and China is useful for us, because if it allows tensions to be contained, yet it allows competition to continue. It's beneficial for us because this competition is enabling the United States to invest more of its eggs in the India basket. And I think that's
So
something that's positive
we
for
would
us.
like things to simmer, isn't it, Manoj? Things to be on a slow boil kind of thing. That helps us.
Yeah,
And the
indeed.
more that continues, the longer that continues, the better.
Indeed, I think that simmering competition, and competition, particularly of an economic nature that we are seeing with the de-risking business, which truly benefits us because we are in a position where we are cultivating trust with the Americans. The fact that we are getting this jet engine deal right now
Yeah.
is big, is significant, right? It tells you that there is the kind of trust which the US has not reposed in any other non-treaty ally. So it just tells you the kind of benefits that we are going to be able to get if these tensions continue to simmer. But it is important for those tensions to not boil over, and for that, this dialogue is useful, right? So from an Indian point of view, I would also look at this dialogue and say this is helpful, this is beneficial. We don't want to see the US and China engaging in some sort of a G2 formulation.
Yeah.
That seems highly unlikely.
Highly
Uh,
unlikely.
so I'm sure that people in India, when they watch this, they'll be sort of anxious about that. But again, to me, that's a misreading of the way domestic politics in the United States today is, and even Chinese perceptions of the US today are. That I don't think trust is there for that to happen. But it's useful for dialogue to happen so that you don't end up seeing accidental escalations, you don't end up seeing conflict, and you don't end up seeing foolhardy economic policies also, which can then adversely affect us.